You know, some people enjoy composing their own music, chord by chord, and others are happiest when they come across that one perfect song. Work is not a lot different than that. Whether you prefer building your own workflow or using a pre-made template, with Monday.com, you and the team can work in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Tap the banner to go to Monday.com and build your own amazing workflow, or find an awesome template. No judgment.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 6, Episode 11, titled Glitter Ball. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one maleficent co-host. From the podcast pod is my co-pilot. Please say...
Whatever, Queen.
Insult?
I should pick your ass just for being a cunt.
To Taylor, the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor the Latte Boy.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
We just had a really good time playing an app called HQ. It's a live game show. I think it came out now. It's probably been like 2 weeks maybe by now, or a week. I don't know. It's very
This was
new.
my first time playing it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, a friend of mine who lives in the Silicon Valley was the one who turned me on to it. And so I'm going to give you my code. Please use the offer code Chronoside, KRONOSIDE, when signing up, and it gives me extra lives. Or you can put Taylor's in. What's yours, Taylor?
PIMC Taylor.
Yeah, put one of our codes in, that gives us extra lives. You get nothing, by the way. But it's a live game show. You get a chance to win real cash. Now, Taylor, you had the question, how are they making money if they're just giving away cash? My suspicion is they're right now, because the app's in its very early stages, they're just trying to get as many people as possible. So they're just throwing cash. I bet you at some point, once they get people hooked in, that's when there's going to be like, you can buy extra lives, or you watch an ad and you get an extra life. Or
I was going to say that's probably the best way to do it, is halfway through, because they ask 12 questions over the course of. You're right. It was like 5 minutes. But halfway through, they'll say, we'll be right back after these messages, and we'll have to watch a 15-second commercial for Trained Air Conditioning or Home Depot or something like that.
But they need to get right now. I mean, if you think about it, yes, it was 13,000 people playing today, but like, that's not a lot, you know?
No, it's not a lot now. But at some point, if they have tons and tons of people, they're going to have to up the money.
Yeah.
So we went from 13,000 people to 9 winners at the end.
Well, on Sunday night, it was $1,250.
Oh, so it's a different amount every night?
Yeah, every game.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and then also, if no one wins one day, it rolls over to the next day.
Okay, I was going to ask, what happens if everybody gets, nobody gets the
Yeah, when I
right?
watched it the first time I played on Friday, no one got it, and it rolled over to Saturday or something.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the prize builds up. Anyway, Taylor, how are you doing? It's going to be weird because, Taylor and I usually talk about our days, but this is our second episode in a row recording. We've already just done. If you've listened already to episode 10, Drag My Wedding, Taylor and I even though you're hearing this a week later, Taylor and I are immediately recording this after that episode 10 recording. So,
yes.
How have you been in this last few minutes, Taylor?
I've been fine, but I have something that is kind of an evergreen topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to talk with you about at some point, and then I thought, I'm going to save this for an episode.
Sure.
And it speaks to something that we love.
Food.
Namely, the Golden Girls.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I woke up the other night, as I do, from, a crippling anxiety attack at, 3 a.m. And the first thing that went through my head was a theory that I have about Blanche Devereaux.
Sure.
Now, you've been watching Golden Girls for a while. I thought I remembered that you started from the beginning and you've been slowly watching them on Hulu.
Yeah, and I'm towards the end of season 4, and for some reason I stopped, but I should probably resume.
Okay.
I'm scared because I feel like you and Sweet Michael have warned me that when you get to like season 6, it's just it starts to go downhill, right? Or like...
Some of them, however, and I know that the plan is at some point we're going to do a Golden Girls themed episode.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite episodes is in, I want to say, season 7.
Okay.
But we'll get to that later. So Blanche Devereaux, when you think of Blanche Devereaux, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Whore.
Okay, sleeps with a lot of men, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and she also was somebody that very much loved her husband, George.
Yes.
And George died.
Yeah.
And another thing that is established throughout the series, whereas Rose has a great relationship with her kids and Dorothy has a good relationship with her kids, Blanche does not have a good relationship with her children.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if the reason that she sleeps with as many men as she does is that she is constantly craving the affection that she would normally be getting from her children. As far as that feeling of love and that feeling of connection, she doesn't get it from her adult children and even her grandchildren, who she doesn't seem to get along with. So she reaches out to the men of Miami, the men of 1985 Miami, to receive that attention. This is the type of shit that I literally wake up in the middle of the night, and that was the first thing that went through my head, and I sat and thought about it for about 20 minutes one night.
But I want to not throw a wrench in your theory, but I want to add more to it here. And what I want to ask you is, where do you think Big Daddy falls in all of this?
Oh, I forgot about Big Daddy.
For those of you who don't know, Big Daddy is her father, and she has a very strange relationship with him. It's not incestuous, but she was
Daddy's little girl.
She was Daddy's little girl. Remember, he's going to get married to some young thing, and she gets really upset.
Yes.
And she is very, very, like, worships the ground that her father walks on.
So, well, but I mean, even then you figure when Big Daddy comes to visit, the first time Big Daddy comes to visit and he is going to become a country singer and she tells him he's going to make a fool of himself and all that kind of stuff, there is still sort of a disconnect there. So I am going to keep with my theory because I forgot about the dig baddie, the Big Daddy part of that. But I just thought if anybody could understand what I'm talking about, it would be you.
But do you think perhaps that she sleeps with all these men to try and fill the void, or not? She's always going for her daddy's affection, and she's trying to fill that.
That may be that. Well, I think you add that on top of that. She does not have a really. Anytime they introduce a member of her family, there's always some sort of conflict. Even the gay brother Clayton, she gets along with him until she figures out that he's gay, and then that becomes a big thing. Like Blanche is very judgmental as to how other people live their lives. And I can't help but feel like she is projecting this feeling of inadequacy and that she is judged by others. So she's not able to have a good relationship with any of her kids. I mean, she had the daughter that was very overweight. And then that same daughter eventually, I think, was the one that became artificially inseminated, but it was played by a different actress.
Big Daddy was played by two different actors because the first one died.
Right. And then there is Clayton, the brother. There is Virginia, her sister, the one that wants the kidney. And then Charlene. I think there was Charlene was on Designing Women. But there was another sister as well that the sisters all didn't get along. There is the grandson that wants to party while he's in town. That I used to have a big crush on when he was on Parker Lewis Can't Lose. I forget his name. I occasionally IMDb him to see what he looks like now as an adult. And there was the granddaughter that came to visit and immediately started dating. Like she was constantly out on dates when she was supposed to be there visiting for like a college visit or something like that.
Dates. She was fucking these guys.
Well, okay, she was banging all these different guys, and the one was going to take her to the Bahamas for the weekend, and how that was a big deal in 1985 because no one had been to the Bahamas. I know there are other family members, but I just, at one point that just kind of popped in my head. And my first thought was, this is a very interesting theory. And my second thought was, I need to share this with Joe Betance one day.
Now, have you psychoanalyzed or done any kind of analysis on any other sitcom characters?
Not to that degree. At 4 a.m. in the middle of an anxiety attack.
You know what would be great is if you analyzed Frasier Crane.
Frasier was one of those shows that I felt like I was supposed to like more than I actually did. I tried watching Frasier, And there were episodes of Frasier that I thought were very funny, but there was other episodes that I just kind of thought, this is sort of the same thing over and over again. I was asked an interesting question by my co-host Taffy the other night at her house, where she said if I could only watch one sitcom and the options were Golden Girls or Designing Women, which would I keep watching forever? And I immediately said Golden Girls. Mm-hmm. And then she said, okay, fine. And then this was the Sophie's choice for me. Golden Girls or The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Really? I've seen more than a fair share of Mary Tyler Moore Show, but I haven't seen the entire run of the show. Like I feel like I've seen the famous ones. Like the one with the clown.
Chuckles Bites the Dust. I've seen the first episode and the last episode, and a couple of important ones in between. But here's my question to you. Golden Girls or Too Close for Comfort? Oh, well, Team Monroe. I have to watch Too Close for Comfort. No, clearly the Golden Girls.
Are there any sitcoms right now or in recent memory that you feel come close to your love for the Golden Girls or Mary Tyler Moore Show? I know you're a big fan of this Parks and Rec. Does that
Parks and Rec would be one. Parks and Rec is definitely one. The Office, I was a big fan. I was not a big fan initially of The Office, but I started watching it and like probably season 3 and then watched it all the way through to the end. I've always been a must-see TV guy, or I was definitely through the heyday of that with starting with like Cosby Show and stuff like that, and then going all the way to Friends and Will and Grace. And then eventually I just kind of stopped other than The Office. And then Parks and Rec, I hated the first season of Parks and Rec.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
If I start Parks and Rec, can I just start with season 2? Do I need season 1?
I would watch the first episode of season 1 and then you could jump to season 2, because the first episode kind of lays out the foundation for who everybody is. Mm-hmm. But the difference is that they definitely didn't have, nobody knew what to do with these characters. And the thing that I did not like about season 1 was that everybody was super mean to Leslie Knope, and it didn't make sense. They all kind of made fun of her behind her back. Whereas by season 2, they recognized that it was more fun to kind of make fun of her, like, in a way that was, well, that's the way Leslie is, and that's what we love about her, even though she drives us nuts. And then that's where the group started to gel.
Well, don't you think, I remember watching the first episode of Parks and Rec and being like, meh, because it was started and run by people who used to work on The Office. And it kind of had that feel of, like, she's Michael Scott, and this is The Office Part 2.
Well, yeah, Parks and Rec was supposed to be an Office spinoff. It was supposed to be a direct spinoff where the characters were supposed to come from.
Does it take place in Pennsylvania?
No, it takes place in Pawnee, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And it just was. They eventually kind of went with a completely different format for it. And Parks and Rec is one of those sitcoms that there are episodes that I actually tear up when I watch them. That they're so well done, and you really fall in love with some of the characters.
Are you watching this? This Will and Grace? This new Will and Grace?
Yeah.
Oh, how is it?
I want... The latest episode felt the closest to a Will and Grace episode of the old stuff, which was the episode about the Jack's grandson goes to I almost said a concentration camp, but that's not.
Wait, Jack's grandson?
Camp. Yes, Jack has a grandson. That was the big reveal.
Are you?
And
okay?
He's like 8 or 9, and he's clearly gay. Mm-hmm. And the Elliot, the one that played the son on the TV show, and his very conservative wife, they're sending their son to a conversion camp, and there's parts of it that are very sweet, but there are also parts of it like they haven't figured out. Honestly, they haven't figured out what to do with Will and Grace yet. It seems like they don't know what to do with them, where they put them in these weird, stupid situations, and they're focusing on Karen and Jack more.
But that's the way the end of that show always was. It turned into the Karen and Jack show.
Right. But it just is, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching it. I think it's only like 12. The first season's only like 12 episodes.
Yeah.
I'll watch it through, and they seem to be slowly getting better, but it's not It's not like, oh, I can't wait to watch Will and Grace. It's kind of like, oh, I have a Will and Grace on Hulu. And I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That is funny to me, too.
This week, the girls play with puppets and put together their outfits for the glitter ball. Meanwhile, the story producers and editors try their best to make something happen during this episode, but in the end, everyone failed as the episode trudged along at a snail's pace. On the main stage, the girls have to name who should go home, and by unanimous decision, Darian Lake is voted the contestant favorite to go home. RuPaul, in keeping with tradition, disregarded the popular vote and told Ben de la Creme to sashay away. Taylor, name 2 things you liked about this episode and 1 thing you did not.
Well, unlike the last episode, I have more. I actually have a group of things that I like about this episode. I love. I'm trying to think of the first thing I want to say. I
have so many things. I can't name one thing.
No, shut up. I love the lip sync. I thought the lip sync was just like we got a really good lip sync between these two contenders before. I thought this lip sync between the two of them, particularly Darian, and maybe it's because she's chubby like Kelly Clarkson, but it felt very much like you were watching.
I think Kelly Clarkson's chubbier, don't you think?
Than Darian Lake? No, Darian Lake is a big girl. Kelly Clarkson's just kind of chubby right now. I like a chubby pop star. I'm happy for Kelly. Kelly Clarkson's one of those that I always kind of smile when I see her.
Because, like, she makes you look thinner when you sit next to her.
You're a dick. Let's see. What is something else that I liked? Well, I mean, to kind of skip ahead a little bit, I loved all of Adore's looks. All 3 of Adore's looks. This was Adore. Adore should have won, regardless of the controversy of sewing or not. Mm-hmm. This is one I loved. All 3 of her looks, and something I did not like. I hate when they do the whole, which one of you should go home. That's just trying to stir up drama towards the end of a season when there's not a lot of drama. Which I guess is why she asked that question. But when she asked the question and Courtney went, "Oh God," or "Oh shit," that kind of was my reaction to that. What about you?
Okay. Number 1 thing that I like that Bianca Del Rio was super excited for Bob Mackie to judge her, and then Bob Mackie read her to filth.
That is good. Okay.
I do like that. I did like.
That never even occurred to me until right now. That is very good.
Oh, I think this is the first puppet challenge. I think this is actually one of the stronger puppet challenges. They were all actually, except for Courtney's, they were all actually pretty good. But even Courtney recovered from her bomb. Yeah. And then what I didn't like was, I didn't like Bianca's weird. I've tried to look at it from an editing standpoint, but I can't even see that, where when they were naming who should go home, and Bianca I felt was kind of gross. In fact, the part where it said, "Please say blankety blanket Taylor the Latte Boy," that came from that speech, and it seemed really kind of like an ugly moment. And I don't know how you. It didn't seem like anyone was laughing, and it didn't seem like it was being played for laughs.
Well, and especially towards the end when she did the it's just like, oh, that's immature. They address that in Untucked, where there seems to be a genuine. Aren't you glad I pulled the clip? Where they seem to address that, in that there seems to be a genuine moment of apology on Ben's part, where she acts the way you would hope an adult would act, where she says, "I am really sorry. I chose my words incorrectly when I said that. That was not my intention." And Bianca, in a confessional, says, "I recognize that I probably reacted too quickly and too harshly, and that, if she can forgive me for acting out at her, I can forgive her for what she said."
Bianca did kind of sail through.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Maybe not in every challenge, but some of the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Well, if we're going to do a stand-up comedy challenge and an insult comic is in the middle of the contestants, they should have just handed her the win and saved everybody. But they saved the money for the transportation for those old folks to come from the senior home.
I feel like Santino said it one time, but she didn't really get read that much for how much all her dresses looked alike, her silhouettes.
Wait till next week's episode.
Oh. After Jocelyn's elimination, Adore is worried because she's been in the bottom 2 twice in a row. Bianca accepts her congratulations as the winner of the previous challenge, and Darian is bitter that she was not placed higher in the wedding makeover challenge.
I'm mad as hell that I'm in the bottom 3. Did I think I outperformed Courtney in that challenge? Yes. I blame it on that goddamn Doogie Howser and his little, Val Kilmer knockoff boyfriend.
He's a doctor. Your daughter should be so lucky.
We don't have a discussion point here, but I actually don't see where I would bring this up anywhere else. You know what was kind of really distracting to me on this episode?
What?
I don't know, if Courtney got a haircut, or maybe because her hair is longer, even though her hair is different from this person, she looked, in this episode only, it's the first time and the only time I've ever seen this, so much like Cameron.
Really?
Yeah, there were a lot of Cameron-esque qualities about her where I kept looking like, oh my God. And I watched this episode twice. So I thought the first time I was like, you know what, you're seeing it, But the second time I was like, no, maybe because her hair is longer. Again, they have the same color hair, but different kind of hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's just, it's just, there's not like they look alike, but almost they look related. For those of you listening, Cameron's my ex-boyfriend. And it was distracting. It didn't bother me. I didn't get sick to my stomach. I didn't get sad. I know, I know that Courtney is not my ex-boyfriend, or is she? But, it was just distracting. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but I think that would be unique to you for that. I mean,
yeah. I didn't expect you I'd be weirded out if you were like, don't you think that Courtney looked like Cameron?
Oh my God, I just watched episode 11. Are you okay?
I know. The next day, Courtney claims to have predicted the final 5, and RuPaul enters the workroom to announce this week's mini challenge.
Now, in the heat of competition, a lot of unexpressed feelings can get bottled up. So for today's mini challenge, I want to do some therapeutic role playing. And we're going to do it with puppets. Because everybody loves puppets.
First up, Adore Delano played Ben Delacreme.
Hi, Ben de la Creme. How are you? Honestly, I'm really good. It's just I don't understand why the judges say that my outfits look costumey. So what do you use to cover your eyebrows? Oatmeal. Party! I'll teach you how to cover up your hog body if you help me blend. Okay, I swear you're amazing and perfect. Thank you.
Okay, like the comedy challenge, let's try this. And I'm gonna keep track here. I'm gonna do scores. Let's see. Maybe we can figure out. We know who wins, but let's see if we can do it. Joe, Taylor, Adore. How many lipsticks would you give Adore's puppet?
I would give it a strong 3 out of how many? 10 or 5?
5. Let's say 5.
All right. I would say 4. 4. I'll say 4.
You know what? I agree with you. 4. Yeah.
Because I like the vocal fry voice.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good impression.
It is a pretty good impression.
Yeah, and she had stuff to say. All right, so we both give her 4. Next up, Bianca Del Rio as Adore Delano.
Adore, I'm really nervous because I think you can see your dirty pantyhose.
Party, fuck. Feel so cool. I'm a Libra. Cool, fuck, party.
Bianca Del Rio, how many lipsticks, Taylor the Latte Boy?
2. I didn't think that was very funny.
I'm going to give it a 3.
We're missing, though, the one. There's a lot of reading towards Darian this episode. And when Courtney has to pull the Darian doll out because it's the last one left, she says, I hope the hole is big enough.
Yeah, but that's not part of the challenge. It doesn't count towards it.
I know, but we didn't talk about that. And there was a couple of reads towards Darian that both Babalu and I laughed at. And that was definitely one. Because fat jokes are funny.
Well, then, hold on when Darian Lake plays. Nope. Hold on as Darian Lake took a crack at Courtney Act.
Well, Courtney, I love your dress. Thank you, Dazzle. I'd love to compliment you on something, but everything you wear is so damn hideous. It's not that your clothes are ugly. It's just you're misshapen. Okay. Wow, Courtney. You could probably glue down that lace front there. Oh, no, that's just your skin that's wrinkled. Well, I'm the oldest living twink in history. Well, you got that twink body. You could probably do a couple of squats to tighten up that ass. You look like a wallaby.
Taylor, how many lipsticks for? How many lipsticks?
Two.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree. It's 2.
Oh, because she kind of uses an opportunity to read Courtney. Of course, after the statement about maybe the hole's big enough, that might have been why she made the comments about her ass. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't seem. It just wasn't as. It wasn't playing to the character. It was playing to read the contestant.
Okay, next, Courtney Act did her best. Darian Lake.
Hi, Darian. How are you? Hi, I'm Darian Lake. So, Darian, tell me, have you had a fun time on RuPaul's Drag Race? I've had a great time, Courtney. What's been your least favorite part? Probably the guest judges. Oh. Neil Patrick Harris hates me. Oh. And what about his boyfriend? I told him he could use $1.50 to go ride the bus. I'm finding it really hard to make you funny, Darian. It's just like real life. I'm going to go check the internet for some jokes. I don't have any Wi-Fi here, so I'm finding it very difficult to be funny.
Taylor the Latte Boy, lipsticks. Courtney Act.
1.
Yeah, I agree. It's a 1. I agree with that. And then finally, Ben de la Creme.
Hi there, Bianca. How are you doing today?
Terrible! These people are a bunch of assholes!
Oh, well, Bianca, what a thing to say.
Baloney!
Now, Bianca, your dress looks gorgeous today.
Well, thank goodness, because I have 50 of the same dress in different fabrics!
Bianca, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling in this competition.
All these people are idiots and assholes! Adore's an idiot! Taylor's got a stupid voice! Santino's asshole is loose!
Oh, Bianca. Looks like your lace front is coming off.
Baloney! I have no problems! I live in New York! I work all the time! Baloney! Assholes!
Taylor the Latte Boy, your number of lipsticks for Ben de la Creme.
3?
What?
4?
No, you can give whatever you want. I'm giving a solid 4. Even maybe a 5, but I'll give it a 4.
I wouldn't give it a 5. Because it's just kind of saying baloney over and over. Baloney and assholes all over again. But 4, I would say 4.
So in your head, well, the way we have it, Adore and Ben tied.
Yeah. I would, listening to all of them again, I would say Adore and Ben tied.
Okay. With Bianca far behind in second. I'm third. Mm-hmm. And then Darian and Courtney with a 2.
Yeah.
2 lipsticks. All right. Any other thoughts on the puppet challenge that you wanted to bring up right now?
I think the puppet challenges have been done better by other seasons after this. Was this the first season they did a puppet show?
I get the sense it was, because she says because everybody loves puppets, where now they say it for her. Like, it's a whole saying.
For some reason, I want to say they did it in season 5.
They may have. I don't remember.
Because I feel like Roxy's was wearing a wig, and then somebody took off the wig, and there was another wig underneath.
Oh, really?
You know what's going to happen is we're going to get a comment from a listener.
Nami
Harder.
Nami Harder is going to fucking email us. And, you know, I don't know if this person listens to the show, but, we released a special All-Stars. This is very unlike me, everybody. Mm-hmm. We released that special All-Stars 3 Meet the Queens episode. Mm-hmm. Where I felt I was very thorough. And by the way, congratulations to us for being 100% right.
Absolutely.
Okay? But we even addressed the controversy about the cable channel lineup, and there's 12 queens now. It's supposed to be 10, blah, 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 right? Somebody on Twitter writes, hate to break it to you, but there are 12 queens. Don't believe everything on Reddit or something like that. Which, by the way, it came out on Reddit. There were maybe 12 queens. But whatever. And I just kind of wrote a cunty thing back. Did you see what I wrote?
I didn't see what you wrote back. I kind of looked for it one day, and then I was at work and I got distracted. But
I just wrote back, hate to break it to you. That's all I wrote.
Oh. Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on the.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on the message.
So,
but that is also unusual for you to kind of.
Well, it was just like, look, clap back at us if we're wrong, right? We deserve it. Or give us more information. Actually, people, Nami and company, did tell us that on Jinx Monsoon was just on What's the Tea with RuPaul and talked about how the guy in the audience for the comedy show was the guy that she made over on her makeover challenge in season 5.
Yes, I know that. Do you know how I know that? We've had lots of people let us know about that.
Oh my God! How many emails did we get and messages?
We got emails and tweets, but honestly, I kind of love that.
Yeah,
because it shows that we have an awesome audience that wants to interact with us, and if they know that they have this nugget of information, they want to cast it at us like the first stone.
Yeah.
And I actually love that. But I was kind of like yes, we know at this point, But thank you to everybody who sent us messages and stuff.
Somebody called me too. Someone they know personally, and they were like, "Did you know this?" And I was like, "Yes." And I sound like a dick because I was like, "Yes, I knew that. But you guys have all told me, right?" And by the way, I'm not mad at any of it. Like I was kind of mad with the Twitter guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, we got all of these messages. It wasn't like where I was doing the another message. It was just like, oh, that's really cool that all of these people I didn't realize that it was because she was just on What's the Tea.
Yeah.
So that information is really, really fresh.
Yeah.
I just thought that was something that just people knew.
Yeah, and then I guess she was also in the audience, but I didn't see her. I didn't notice her.
Jinx was in the audience?
Yeah, I think someone told us that too. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah. After naming Ben the winner of the mini challenge, RuPaul announced this week's main challenge.
For this week's main challenge, the House of RuPaul is throwing the first ever glitter ball. You need to serve 3 distinct looks. First category is Banji Girl Bling. Second category is Platinum Card Executive Realness. And the last and shiniest of all category is Dripping in Jewels. Eleganza!
Now, the only interesting event to take place during this episode was Adore Delano's emotional moment with RuPaul during the table visit.
What can you show the judges to let them know that you are top 3 material?
I just think, like, what I had in the beginning or whatever, like, it kind of got lost. I just get really, like, discouraged and, like, frustrated. I don't want to be like the Chiona, like, that cries all the time, but it just pisses me off because I feel like I'm so talented, like, in other things. So I'm just like, why can't, like, my brain, like, allow me to make a fucking dress?
Right.
It's like, I don't want to lip sync again. I came here to be, like, top 3 and to fucking win it.
Right. You know, one of the notes that I've given you a lot is that you have to learn to apply your great things, like in the rapping or the singing. You have to apply what you have there into the other challenges.
Right.
Put it in this fucking dress. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
All right, Adore, you get back to work.
Thanks. Sorry for crying all the time.
Emotions don't scare me.
Thank you, Ru.
All right.
Taylor the Latte Boy, your thoughts on Adore's little emotional breakdown?
I think it's insightful. I think it's very insightful on her part that she is able to recognize that, when she said, I'm losing, I feel like I'm losing that. That's something that if I had somebody say that to me in a session, I would say that's a very insightful recognition of something. It's just a question of what you do with that information to kind of help you to push through.
I think that this little moment here, it just seems like a moment, but it's why the young kids find Adore Delano so relatable. It's things that she says, too, that they probably feel like, I don't know why I am the way I am, or why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, or I know I have the talent, but I'm not able to demonstrate that talent. And I started off so good, and I'm unable to tell you why I'm not able to make it happen anymore. And I think a lot of young people feel that frustration. That said, I do feel at a certain point, like, yeah, Adore's like 23 or 22 here, but like, she's still playing that game now, and it's not cute anymore.
Well, now 4 years later, you're right. It's not. And when you get into your late 20s, mid to late 20s, then there should be a little bit more of a path. But at 23, what she is saying is completely within, appropriate age-related questioning and concerns that she has as far as what am I doing? What can I do to continue moving forward so that I don't get left behind? Because that's really what she's talking about is, getting left behind. So, and she doesn't want that, so she's got to figure out what she's going to do.
What were your thoughts on RuPaul's role in this? Because I almost used, I call it clip 0 when I said, please say blankety blankety blank. I actually had pulled her saying, emotions don't scare me. Yeah. I pulled and I replaced it with the other one. But I actually like that quote. And what are your, I know this is where you and I sort of veer off in different directions, and I'm sort of a fan of like new agey talk, but I know you're not. So I was wondering.
I didn't consider this to be new agey talk as much. I thought that what she said was just channeling that energy, channeling that drive that you have where you do other things so well. You can apply that to things that you struggle with. She seems to be able to, especially, look at the rapping challenge versus sewing. Rapping, she was excited to do it. She kind of just went with it. And whether it's something she's done in the past and she's good at, or she was just so excited by the challenge, she did amazing. If there is a way to kind of focus that energy and focus that emotion into the new project that you're working on, that will take you further than if you allow yourself to just kind of sit with the uncertainty and the, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do this. This is hard. I hate this. You're never going to go anywhere. But if you can apply that, even if it's where you sort of, you almost like fake it till you make it, where, you know what, I'm going to give this my all and I'm going to try and everything's going to be great and I'm going to be successful, use the power of positive thinking. That will help you to go further. Whether or not she wins the challenge, which obviously she did win, but that remained to be seen. But if you focus on it with that confidence and that enjoyment in something, it's going to be a better experience. The end result should be a better experience for you, rather than focus on the uncertainty.
And now it's time for the looks.
You're such a dick. Do you have nothing to say about that? Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I think you're right. I always like when you talk about this stuff, but how am I going to go like, let me add to what you just said, mental health professional Taylor the Latte Boy.
I do this with my clients all the time when they talk about stuff that they're scared to do and all that kind of stuff. And we sit and we talk about it. And we're like, what part of this is scary? It's scary because.
What do I do for you? Because, you're a mental health professional, Taylor, so I often will come to you with my mental health questions, or sometimes I just, unload on you like, Nami Harder wrote to me about how I'm wrong and this makes me feel really sad. So, what do I do for you? What do you get from me? Talk about me.
I get to practice my mental health skills on people that I don't have to worry about charting.
Yeah.
From you, I get friendship. You and I think one of the best things about doing the show with you is that you and I are friends now.
Well, on your end.
Yeah, well, especially when you consider how much I did not like you when you started doing catching up.
Guys, Mike Lawson didn't want to tell me. My friend was all like, there's a podcaster who really does not like you. I don't want to tell you who it is because he's did you actually tell him that you were afraid that I would lash out at you?
I might have. Yeah. I might have said that.
He's afraid that you'll lash out at him. Which, look, I've said this. I think 5 years ago, or 4.5 years ago, when I started that podcast with Mike Lawson, I probably would have. I was, to quote me and all the drag queens, I was very extra in those early episodes.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah. But I think now, I feel like my more gentle side has come out.
Absolutely. That is why I continue doing this show with you. If you were the guy from 4.5 years ago, season 7. Well, no, I wasn't even on season 7.
Exactly.
Season 8 would have been it. So no, I
were you afraid at any point when you came on season 8 or season 7 that I would be like that, or did you already know I wasn't like that?
I already knew you. You and I had spent time together in.
No,
Vegas.
I tried to talk to you in Vegas, and you were very like, ugh.
No, that's not true. I really don't think that is not the case. That is your perception of it. It was not that I was like, ugh, when I saw you.
We will find out this year at the Pride 48 Expo. Oh, we don't know if it's in Las Vegas. So we can't. We don't know. We don't know.
You're a little premature there. Give me a couple of meetings, and then we can talk about it.
It might be Las Vegas. I'll say this. This is correct. Historically, it's been in Las Vegas. There's talk of it changing this year.
Yes, okay. And we'll have more details about that later. But okay, so we have friendship. That's something that I get from you.
Mm-hmm. Toot.
You very much. Oh, was this the answers? The answers I get a toot or a boot? You're a dick. God. I get you make me laugh. There are times that I think it is abundantly clear to you through conversations that I do not want to do this show. As far as record an episode, I'm usually tired or I'm overwhelmed or I just kind of don't want to. And you always convince me to do it. And not that you beg me to do it. Right? That's not what I meant by that. But I kind of sign in and I do the heavy sigh before I turn on Hangout. And inevitably you make me laugh so hard at something that I'm like, well, this is why I do this. On top of all the stuff from our listeners and all the kind notes and the tweets and all that kind of stuff. But that is your comedy. Even when you are making fun of me, actually, I kind of almost prefer when you make fun of me. Is I adore you and your comedic sense of style.
Well, thank you, Taylor. It's very nice, and it's nice now to know that you've committed to our RuPaul's Drag Race recaps of All Stars 1 coming soon.
We'll see.
All right. Taylor the Latte Boy, the looks.
The looks. Okay. So we have 5 looks. Technically, we have 15 looks this week, but Joe threatened to kill himself if I made him look at all 15 looks.
Well, no. Look, if they were here in the official looks folder, I would have done it.
Yes. Right. But there are certain looks, both positive and negative, that are not of the 5 looks that I will bring up. And trust me, they will be memorable when I mention them to you.
All right.
So let's talk about Adore Delano first. Adore was assigned Diamond, and we're going to talk about her. We are going to talk about her official glitterazzi dress, which is a tutu and a bustier with kind of shag Andy Warhol hair and white platform boots. And then she had sort of a chain. Of her 3 looks, I liked this look. It was my least favorite of her 3 looks, though. I loved the Banshee Girl look, where she had the thigh-high sparkly boots, and she had on the pink furry jacket with the little shorts and the hair, the chola hair. She looked fucking hot as that. Also, her platinum card executive realness look, where she referred to herself as a business lesbian who sleeps with men on the weekend. Another very sexy look. A woman in a business suit is very sexy to me. And her straight hair, her straight kind of bob hair that she had with the little smart glasses, great, great look. So on the whole, I give Adore toot, toot, toot.
I don't remember the looks, but I will say I like this look. But here's where I'm hesitating on the toot. As we've seen in the episode, Bianca helped her a great deal with this outfit.
Yes. But it sounds like it was Adore's vision.
Okay.
And it was Adore's vision as to what she wanted to do. And it was also Adore did the work for it. If Bianca came over and actually put that tutu thing together, that would be a completely different story. But ultimately, even though she said, does this look okay? And Bianca went, no, that looks horrible. She was the one that put it all together.
All right.
So she should get credit for it.
I'll give it the toot.
I'm sure
but you know
this
what I
is
want to
somebody-
do? I can't do it, but you can do it. So hold on here for a second. I'll just turn over this one. It's only going to be your scores here. So Adore. So the first look, the second look, and the third look. How many lipsticks for the first look out of 5?
The Banji girl?
Yeah.
5. Okay. Absolutely. 5 out of 5.
Executive realness?
5.
Oh, wow. And then the diamond?
4.
Okay. Go. I'm sorry. I was almost taking over your part of the show. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. Next up is Darien Lake in Topaz. And Darian's... What is... Darian's look for Banji Girl was that horrible iridescent bodysuit with the blue hair.
Yeah. Awful. That was awful. I remember that one.
That was just so like, when you saw it. I mean, it was really, really bad. And it was not Banji. It was Rave Kid, which I agree with. Her
How many lipsticks?
Executive for that 1.
Okay.
1. For her executive platinum card, executive realness, I don't remember what she had on, but I remember actually it was very Lane Bryant. It was something very off the rack. It was something that they had on What Not to Wear. I used to watch What Not to Wear years ago, and every woman they had her in some sort of like leather jacket at some point, and that's kind of what it looked like. She sort of looked like Winona Judd in this outfit, and it just was not a good look. So
don't insult Darian like that. Why are you always insulting Darian by comparing her to people who are fatter than she is?
I think Darian is fatter than Winona Judd. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That was another look that I would give that look a 1. This dress is horrible. This dress is kind of like a brownish color, like almost like a pudding brown. And then she has where she was trying to go for a Princess Leia thing. But as she said on the runway, the gems were too heavy, so it stretched everything out. And all it does is it literally makes an arrow to her fupa. And it's just not attractive or becoming at all. I would give this look a 2 lipsticks, only because she makes reference to wanting to be Princess Leia slave, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
So that is my thought on her. All right. So next up is Courtney Act and Courtney's Banji Girl look. I take umbrage with Michelle's critique of it, because she was in a black tank top and she had on little jean shorts and she had a flannel shirt, like her boyfriend's flannel shirt, tied at the waist, and she had big Banji Girl earrings and blonde hair. And Michelle said that was more grunge girl than Banji Girl. And my thought to that is, and I'm sure this is going to come off as racist, and I don't mean to be racist, but there was a time in the 90s that flannel was very big in hip hop. So I feel like if Courtney was of a different color and she wasn't a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl.
Like if Shea Coulee wore the same outfit.
If Shea Coulee wore the same thing, it would have looked like Salt and Pepper realness versus somebody that was on tour with Soundgarden. So I take umbrage with that. I thought she looked great. I thought the look, whether it was rocker or Banji, because she even said, she goes, "I've got my bamboo earrings on," and to which Michelle said, "Bamboo earrings do not a Banji girl make." I think that there was some reverse racism going on there regarding Courtney's look. So I would give Courtney's look for Banji Girl 3.
3. Noted.
3. Noted. All right. Executive platinum card, executive realness. Why can I not remember what she had on? I know that she was talking into a phone, so I was more focused on the phone than her look. I don't remember anything about it, so I'm just going to give it a 2. Because I can't think. Somebody right now is screaming because that was their favorite look. So the fact that I just gave it a 2, but whatever. And then her final look, her gem was ruby. And she had on this kind of like lacy, it almost looked like a nightgown, like a nighty robe with lingerie. And then she painted the upper half of her face in gemstones. So it almost looked like a superhero mask. With a black wig, I will give her that, because normally she's a blonde, but she had on a black wig. She kind of, not my favorite look. I don't think it doesn't look as polished as I think we've gotten used to with Courtney. So I would not give this my favorite. So I would say 3.
Okay, 3, duly noted.
So am I doing all of these and you're not doing them because you just don't want to talk about the looks?
Well, no, I'm secretary.
Okay. Do you want to comment on any of the looks that we've talked about so far?
Boot.
Do you want to be more specific, you asshole, on which one you're booting?
So far, they've all been boots, except for a door. 2, boot.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have Bianca Del Rio. And Bianca Del Rio's Banshee look was kind of like she was in a, like, almost like a black, like, leotard type thing. And she had on a jacket, and she had an updo where she had a bow, so it almost looked like cat ears and big sunglasses. I very much like this look. It made me laugh. And she looked cute, kind of swinging her sunglasses around. So I would give that look 4.
4, wow.
4. I'm trying to think of her executive. The executive looks just only 2 of them really kind of stood out for me. So I don't necessarily remember the executive looks too much. So I'm just going to say 3. Just going to cut it down the middle and just say 3 for her executive look.
I'm going to pull them up while you do that.
All right. So, and finally, her last look, she had sapphire for her dress. This dress is the same silhouette as every other dress that she's worn. It is definitely, I'm getting tired of it. And for her having made it then, it's not, I'm not a fan. So I would say that one gets a 3 as well.
So 3 for her blue look. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then keep going. Oh,
okay.
Boot. You know what the thing is? The schmuckta in the hair that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. So finally, we have Ben de la Creme, and Ben. Let me pull up Ben's. Ben had rose quartz. Her Banshee girl dress. I liked her Banshee dress. It was a Banshee. I liked her hair. It was it looked like it had a lot of product in it. It was kind of like hanging to the side, and she had her makeup done a little bit harsher than Ben normally wears it. And she was definitely serving Bette Midler in Big Business for her platinum card realness, and it was all pink and black and white with polka dots. And while she got the critique that no businesswoman would wear that and that it was a cocktail dress, I disagree. I could see of a certain time a woman would wear a dress like that to a business meeting. And so, but the Banshee I would give a 4. And her platinum card executive realness, I would give that a 4 as well.
Okay.
Her rose court looks is very carousel, circus girl that rides the ponies, where she did a lot of work. She stoned the main piece of it, definitely, with covered in rose quartz, and she did a lot as far as a bodice on the back, and just kind of I don't get the weird slice of pizza in the hair, but whatever. 4s across the board for her. 4s across the board for Ben.
So 4s across the 4s across the board for Ben. Okay. Now wait, you remember Courtney's Banshee girl. You don't remember the Bianca or Courtney's executive realness, correct?
Right.
Okay. So now I'm at executive realness now. Platinum card executive realness. Here comes Bianca, Ben, which you got is big business. And you're giving that the big business executive realness a 4?
For Ben?
Yeah.
Maybe a 3.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, look, it's your opinion.
No, I know. I remember liking it. Then I'm going to stick with a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I am going to stick with a 4 because I do remember liking it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely not modern executive platinum card.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely of the 80s. How are you sending these to me through text
I was going to show you. Here's Bianca's.
Bianca's is cute. Okay. I knew it was something where they were talking about real estate. I would give Bianca Winona Judd realness for Darian Lake. I would give Bianca a 4.
Okay.
Darian's is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Darian looks like she is going to Courtney's I do not like. Courtney's is a little too tight and a little too leathery for being platinum card executive.
What do you give that?
So I am going to say for Courtney, I'm changing Courtney to a 2, and I will move Bianca to a 4.
Okay. So now I have the final scores. Wait, what did you're giving Courtney the 2? Okay. Okay, so that score didn't change. Okay, so according to you, looking at this here, based on what you're saying, is Adore should be the winner at 14.
Okay.
But in second place, according to you, on the looks alone, is Ben at 12.
Okay.
You have Bianca with 11, and then the bottom two you have is Darian and Courtney.
I stand by those numbers. I stand by those numbers.
In your head, Courtney and Darian should be in the bottom two, not Ben.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yes. I agree with that.
On the main stage, RuPaul turned the tables on the girls and asked them to name who should go home.
What can you show the judges to let them know that you are top 3 material?
I just think, like, what I had in the beginning or whatever, like, it kind of got lost.
Oh, wait, sorry?
Yeah, that's the...
Okay, here we go.
Okay, can we also... can we keep that in just because I have something I'm going to comment at? What's going on with RuPaul's mouth?
What do you mean?
Because she's kind of talking like... Where she's had bridge work done or something.
She does that on... when she does... I feel like at table visits she gets very austere.
Well, but it sounded muffled. It sounded like she had in Trinity's flipper.
She goes a little bit like Adore. She does. She's done it before, but she doesn't do it when she's in RuPaul Glamazon mode.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Ladies, I must ask, which one of you should go home tonight and why? Let's start with Dela.
I think Darian, everyone else who's here has really shown an ability to hear critique and adjust, and some folks, like Bianca, just sail through. But Darian, I think she frequently assumes she is doing better than people from an outside perspective might see.
All right, thanks, Dela. Adore Delano.
I feel based on this challenge, Darian.
Bianca Del Rio.
If it's about this particular challenge, I would have to say Darian. And I'm not going to lie to you.
I know.
Which is why I'm called a bitch, and apparently I'm sailing now.
Is that a bad thing?
Whatever, Queen.
So?
I should pick your ass just for being a cunt.
That was like you're good at stuff.
Yeah, no, that was very condescending.
Darian Lake, same question.
I think, Darian, you should really go home for what you have done today. Think about what you did and realize the criticisms. Who I think should go home? Whoever does not lip sync for their life.
Okay, Courtney Act.
Coming into this competition, I earmarked Adore as being top 3. And over the last few weeks, she's kind of tripped and stumbled, so I think that she would be the next to go. But I guess based on tonight's comments, I'm going to say Darian.
So your answer is Adore and Darian.
What was the weird answer that Darian gave? That made absolutely no sense.
I think she was agreeing that she should go home, but then she said... Yeah.
But if you go back and listen to it, it sounds like they took chunks of a speech and kind of mangled them together, edited them in a way that doesn't make any sense. And then at the end, she says, the one who should go home is the one who didn't lip sync for her life. That whole thing. I remember watching it. I'm like, what? It didn't make any sense to me then. And listening to it now, it doesn't make any sense. It's just a weird editing move on the producer's part.
I agree with you. Fuck them. After the judges' deliberations, Adore was named the winner of the challenge, while Ben and Darian were placed in the bottom 2. In a repeat lip-sync battle for their lives, Ben and Darian went head-to-head. The song? Stronger by Kelly Clarkson. In the end, Darian was told, Shantae, you stay, while Ben was asked to sashay away. Taylor, any final thoughts on the episode?
I love the looks. So the fact that this was a very look-heavy episode, that made me happy, especially considering the horrible wedding makeover thing. I also thought this was one of the strongest lip syncs of the season. That this was definitely one that I enjoyed watching. And even though I knew how it ended from watching the season a couple years ago, for somebody not knowing, it really is. It was a neck and neck of who could have been sent home. I think Darian just eked it out a little bit more than Ben, but it was very enjoyable to watch. So you could see Darian particularly really feeling the lyrics, and that she really wanted to prove that this was her moment. But I think Ben was keeping up with her for the most part.
Yeah, I thought this one was pretty close. If either one of them would have been home, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah,
and not in a bad way like last week. So
it also seems one of the things that I like is this is going to sound weird, but like Ben and Darian, this has been this long-standing thing that they don't seem to like each other and that they've been bickering back and forth. Darian's been picking on Ben, or however you want to say it. And it just seems like when they do these lip syncs, there's always kind of this moment of congratulations between the two. And this kind of goes throughout the seasons, with the exception of the Fifi O'Hara thing with Alyssa at All Stars 2. But they always seem like, where there is a hug, or there is a kiss, or there is a congratulations. And I always just think that is a very nice way to kind of put a cap on especially a particular storyline like this.
Yeah, I think they always got along. I never bought into the fucking bullshit about that they didn't get along. I was convinced that the Jocelyn Courtney thing, I think Courtney wasn't being serious, but Jocelyn took it seriously. So maybe there was some of that there, but I don't know with Darian. I kind of feel like they made a mountain out of a molehill. Don't you agree?
I guess so. It's so easy to be manipulated by these edits and the producers, but all we have is interviews post Drag Race to find out what really happened between Ben and Darian.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Join us next week, and are you okay?
Yeah, I just coughed.
Join us next week and every week as we dissect, discuss, and deconstruct each episode during this very special season of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. So for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away until next week.
RuPaul's Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast. To learn more about Afterthought Media, visit afterthought.media. To support us on Patreon and to gain access to our other shows, please visit us at patreon.com/dragracerecap. For a small monthly fee, you gain access to hours of bonus content weekly, frequent live shows, and access to our extensive back catalog. To contact the show, email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at Drag Race Recap, and follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Drag Race Recap. You can find Taylor the Latte Boy on his other podcast called Pod Is My Co-Pilot, available at podismycopilot.com and everywhere you get your podcasts. You can also follow Taylor on Twitter at PIMCTaylor and on Instagram at PIMCTaylor. Joe Betance is the host of many other podcasts, and you can find those podcasts at afterthought.media or at patreon.com/dragracerecap. You can follow Joe Betance on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Betance, that's JoeBetance. This episode was recorded in the summer or fall of 2017 and originally released on Patreon.